Okay, look over here. Look up. I have to say, if you didn't come in any sooner than this corneal ulcer could have caused blindness. I'm Dr. Jennifer Tsai. I'm an optometrist, entrepreneur, and content creator in New York City. I'm the founder of Line of Sight and Hygienic. So I'm actually not from New York City. I wasn't born here. I was born in Virginia. I actually did not want to move to New York City. It was not a place where I wanted to live when I thought about it. I thought it was dirty. I thought the people were mean. I thought it smelled. And living here and experiencing New York City as a New Yorker completely transformed my experience, and it made me think this is exactly where I need to be when I graduate school. So as soon as I graduated school, I packed up my bags and moved to New York City without a job. When I applied, I thought about, why not be in a hospital setting? And that's where I ended up with one of my first jobs at Mount Sinai, New York Eye and Ear Infirmary Hospital. It really opened my eyes to what practicing as an optometrist is like in the real world. I really felt so honored to be able to take care of people's visions, but a part of me still felt like I wasn't fully fulfilled because a lot of the patients were coming in and sometimes there's nothing I could do. It was a little too late. I remember one instance, this patient, still to this day, she came in and she sat in front of my chair and she told me how she's basically almost losing her vision. She's getting a lot of scarring on her cornea, and I'm checking and I am so devastated for her because she came in when it was a little too late. And the previous doctors that were treating her were just putting her on copious amounts of steroids and medications that only treated the problem temporarily. And I thought about how traditional healthcare was still so backwards. And if we could offer treatments to this patient before losing her vision, we could potentially save her vision if it was available to her. And I thought about how a lot of these ways that we treat the patients are just putting a Band-Aid on the problem instead of treating the problems before to target the root cause so we can be actually preventative. That's where I was starting the thoughts about what would it be like to practice differently. I had ideas that I could bring into making the experience much better. Really, it's what I would imagine vision care to really be. And to do that, I had to start from scratch. And I started exploring different neighborhoods in New York City to see what was the right fit for this futuristic, tech-forward concierge service that I wanted to provide. I wanted to create the first ever optometry clinic that integrates with wellness and hospitality. Think of Almonds, even the soap line, Aesop. I thought about how well it's done, beautifully crafted, and walking into those places, it's a completely different experience. And Hudson Yards was up and coming at that time, and it still is. And in 2019, we found a space for the lease, which is now this. It was an empty shell, and I remember super excited. I signed the lease December on Christmas Eve, and we got the keys to start building what it is now, Line of Sight. And in January 2020, there was stuff on the news that we saw in February that something called COVID-19 happened, the pandemic. And it was one of the scariest, most single-handed, hardest things I've ever done in my lifetime career, to pivot my business and figure out how, after signing $1 million lease, what I'm going to do. I didn't know how we were going to pay the lease and all the money that we just sunk into the cost of purchasing all the medical devices and our eyewear and frame inventory, what to do. And we couldn't finish building out the practice in time. Construction was stalled. I really thought to myself, did I just make the biggest mistake of my life signing this lease? I was really close to giving up on line of sight. It was my first brick and mortar business that I've ever opened, and I was very close to really giving up. And I just sat with myself and really thought about who I am. And as a kid, my mom always told me that I was so resilient, I was so stubborn. No matter what task or habit was placed in front of me, I would never give up. When I was young, she moved me back to Taiwan with my grandparents who raised me for 2 years, and I came back into the States. I didn't speak English, and I went to start kindergarten, and I had to learn English as my primary language, even though I was born here. And I was just someone that never quit. And I remember that's who I am inside, that inner child. I never quit. And so that gave me the strength that I needed to push forward and really not give up on my hopes and dreams. And I had to find a different way to practice, or else we would have to close before opening. I started seeing patients virtually online and with what I could until we could open the practice, and thankfully that worked for us. And so closer to August, we were able to slowly come back into the space and finish building out the practice. We finally opened October 2020. We had our launch party in the Hamptons and invited everyone in, and I'm so glad that I didn't give up, because all of the patients find so much joy in coming here. And to this day, our patients from 2020, they come in every year and they see how much the place has grown and changed, and they meet all the wonderful staff and the team here, and they really, really enjoy their time and their experience here. And I'm so glad that I didn't give up. I remember we were meeting with our architect team to come up with names for the practice. I was like, I don't want to call it Hudson Yards Eye Care Practice, Dr. Jimmer Size Clinic, or #1 Optometry in New York City. I wanted something that embodied a feeling, something that's going to stand beyond its time. That line of sight was what it was, because it was the vision of the future. Line of sight means to look in your line of sight into the future, into the horizon. And this path there, or this vision, this sight is infinite. And that is the trajectory of our vision.
3, 2, 1, line of sight!
And when patients walk in, it's a completely different experience. It feels like a spa. It's serene, it's calming. And from beginning to end, you're greeted with experts who walk you through a very tailored and personalized experience. From your eye exam, the doctor is walking you through all the different options of treatments and possibilities that you get excited about, to all the advanced machines that we have to pre-test your vision. And we can use it to show visualizations of your retinal health, to do advanced topography or mapping of the front of the eye, to using even devices that image your meibomian glands to show you the severity of dry eyes. And when I opened the practice, I wanted to be able to find custom glasses that are luxury, well done, but also they tell a story and fit your face perfectly well, because everyone's different and everyone has a different shape, everyone has a different form, and I wanted to find frames that make people look beautiful in the way that they are. In 2024, we started to expand. We opened in Equinox Hotel in their spa with our clinical residency there. And there we focus on all of our aesthetic and dry eye treatments. That includes treatments like IPL for dry eyes, radiofrequency, and now even exosomes or stem cell therapy for the under eye area. We have a lot of amazing new treatments, cutting edge from Korea, skincare line that we are the first to incorporate and embody. In the United States and in New York City, we're one of the first optometry practices to bring on Regeron, which is for skincare rejuvenation under eye. I envision line of sight to be in Miami and West Hollywood, and it's going to be a redefined way of modern eye care, so that I could extend our services beyond just New York City, and so that everyone can experience it.